So the longer and longer I've had these beautiful handlebars, the more and more they're growing on me. But however, Luke cut himself some handlebars, and we were kind of doing this together, and he has gone ahead and cut his off. Personally, I thought they looked better on him than these look on me, but kind of going with it right now. I've been twirling them into some horns here, so see how long I keep them for. I mean, I'm not seeing anybody. We're on quarantine anyway, so I ain't trying to impress nobody. Let's talk about the car. I was waiting on the brakes last time we talked, and the rotors, and they've shown up, but I had to get the car down, so I got the whole rear done. Same thing on the other side, and I've gone ahead and aligned it, so I'll show you guys the ride height and how I've aligned it and what it looks like. So as you can see here, I've got the suspension all in there. Got the BCs, got the Part Shop Max knuckles and all the ISR arms, and I got my ride height sitting pretty nice, or at least pretty even to the rest of the car. Doesn't look half bad, but obviously there's no rotors in there, no brakes, so got those right here. Nothing fancy, just a set of centric rotors, and I've got the rebuilt calipers here, and then I got a used set here that I was going to rebuild. However, I don't feel like it. One of those things again where I don't think it's necessary. I think I'm just gonna put those ones on, use those ones as the handbrake ones, and if they give an issue, I've got the rebuild kits. But what's gonna end up happening if I pull these apart, then I'm gonna want to powder coat them, and then I'm gonna want to tear these apart to powder coat these, and I'm just trying not to do that. My phone is going off. Nobody ever messages me, so. But yeah, so pretty much since this is all done, I just need to go ahead and put those on. It's not going to be too difficult. I'm going to use these calipers here for the standard location. I'm going to use these two calipers here for the handbrake with the remote handbrake reservoir, and it's going to essentially just use those standard lines on those, and then I'm going to use a set of custom lines to run from the master cylinder all the way back, tee off, and just to use those, and we'll go over that. But for right now, just gonna get the rotors on, calipers. These are the only ones I'm actually gonna use with the lines today because I don't have the lines for those yet, and we're gonna go ahead and get these in. And if I bleed them today, then we'll go ahead and everything will still be working on the car, and we can actually go ahead and use the brakes again. And when those come in separately, we can mount the handbrake and go on ahead and run the lines for that. Actually, Luke is fitting his own plate that he drew up and for his handbrake, and so we can go in there and check that out and see what he's doing. We're on our way to see what kind of noise Luke is making. What's all that noise you're making? I can hear you from inside.
You know, just making things fit. But in there. There you go.
Happy with it?
Yeah, just need to situate this area here, and then it'll be good to go.
But you haven't physically had it mounted in yet, and you had your seat kind of mocked in with the handbrake?
Yeah. No, yeah, I had the seat in before I went through with getting it situated, so like the measurements for these.
And you kind of like make sure that your hand didn't hit the wheel, hit the shifter, hit the handbrake.
Yeah, I had it like actually sitting there, so with the whole bracket that goes on there, should be good.
Yeah, well, I mean, how long until you think you're gonna have the seat in and the handbrake and everything, so we can kind of fully see?
20 minutes.
Oh, everything in 20 minutes? Handbrake mounted and everything?
Yeah, I mean, no lines or nothing, but like with the seat and everything.
All right, I'll take your word on it. I'll be back in 20 minutes to check on you. All right. How long did it take you to draw that bracket?
20 total, I would probably say like 45 minutes with actual work time between working and whatnot. It was from scratch, but I mean, I basically based it off of the one that we had for another car.
Oh, that was the one that was on the 350Z?
Yeah, the demo car. So, but it's actually flipped the other way and then further back. And this hole's round where the 350Z was square.
Alright, cool. I'll come back and check on it. So I've gone ahead and installed the ISR conversion line to Z32, and it's pretty simple. It just connects directly to your OEM line and then runs down and actually changes from the factory to a M10 1.0 inverted flare thread-in fitting here. It goes directly into the caliper, and so the front one of the dual caliper setup is going to be the one that's controlled by the foot brake, and then the handbrake will be the caliper on the rear, and it essentially be another line just like this, teed somewhere probably right above the subframe here, and you have each one of the line, a longer version of that line just running straight into each one of the rear calipers, and then you have one line running all the way into the car up to your handbrake, and we'll go over that once those lines show up. But right now, essentially just going to get that line in, caliper, rotor, and then physically mount the rear caliper. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. So now that I have the brake line and the caliper installed, I have not yet installed the brake pad, and I kind of just want to go over brake pad stuff with you guys. So over here I have a couple different options. I've got just like a standard set of Centric or Bendix OE replacement style pads, nothing fancy because this car isn't going to be driven much on the street. So if I'm not going to do any kind of spirited driving or anything like that. If I was going to do that, I would definitely upgrade the standard foot brake ones to probably like a Hawk HP pad or something like that, or a nice set of EBC red stuff. For this car, as it's going to be just on the track and it's going to be seeing much of that foot brake stuff, I've just gone ahead and put just a whatever set of pads in there for that foot brake. But for the handbrake, I've got here a set of EBC yellow stuff, and we've used EBC yellow stuff in the past on the Pro cars, and it's worked pretty well. Right now, currently, what we run on pretty much all the cars are Project Mu D1 spec pads. So yeah, let me tell you guys about these Project Mu D1 pads. They are the best for handbrake pads. And then again, let's talk about me saying that. I've never had my own drift car like that I go and beat up on a regular basis, and I haven't gone and changed pads to tell you the difference. What I'm going off of is driver feedback from all the Pro stuff, and even helping customers and guys here who have had them. Yeah, so if you've gone ahead and installed one and you've like, man, this thing doesn't lock up, and you've just kind of put in any old plain stuff you got from AutoZone, and you put it in there, and you put your inline in, and you've gone taken it and you kind of yanked on it, and you're like, man, I need to bleed it more, this thing kind of sucks. And then you keep doing it, and eventually after it warms up a little bit, it kind of locks. Then you're like, oh, well, now it's working. Maybe I needed to bleed it more. Maybe I needed to get some heat in it. And some of that may be true, but these D1 Project Mu pads, you put them in cold, you yank it, it locks. It's probably the most aggressive thing you can put on your rotor, and I don't know how long that's going to last, but for pro drifting, we've had the same pads in for, we took them out and inspect them, but Kevin's had the same ones in the rear of his car for like 2 years, and still look totally fine, and the rotor isn't destroyed, and it locks up every single time he click, lock. And so I would like to put those in. However, the thing about those D1 pads are they come from Japan, and they come in very, very small quantities, and no matter how much we order, we only ever get to see that one little bit of quantity that comes in, and they fly off the shelf instantly. And so I have not purchased any, and they've been on back order for quite some time. Honestly, we try really, really hard here to keep them on the shelf because they're an awesome pad. Next step, we have run these EBC yellow stuff before. Actually, these are a set that we took out because we didn't have a set of those Project Mus. And this is going to be a learning experience for me, and hopefully you guys, to follow along with me, because I want to see what the difference is. Luke's hammering. So maybe he's got it installed now. We can go check that out. And hopefully you guys can follow along with me. Like, I want to put these in, see how they feel, talk to you guys about them, and then hopefully when those Project Moves show up, I put them in and we can go back in a future episode and look and experience for myself the big change or the drastic difference that all the other drivers and all the other customers and all the other guys here have had with it. So yeah, I just want to take a little second there to talk to you about those brake pads, and even then maybe about the foot brake ones. You know, I say I'm throwing in some whatever ones just because I'm not gonna be driving on the street, but maybe when I get more comfortable with the drifting and I'm good enough to even notice the difference, maybe some of that foot brake one will make a difference. Who knows? We'll learn together. So yeah, let me get back to installing this, and we can talk about the brake pack stuff in a future episode. So we're gonna go check on Lucas. Don't let that darkness outside make you think that it's been a lot longer than 20 minutes. It's Florida life. It gets like, it's like a light switch. It just goes dark instantly. Yeah, I guess it's not as dark as I thought it was. Man, talking smack. Let's have a look. Alright, so he's got his little plate done, and master there. Lucas is 6'19". I can barely reach the pedals over here, but he's got it situated how he likes it. And this is the ISR V2. I mean, I couldn't reach it, but if I was sitting a lot more forward, it seems very, very comfortable. Like, kind of like it, Lucas. Yeah, man, I'm digging it. I might have to get one of these. There's quite a few people out there who make this style plate. I guess you weren't too happy with a lot of them. I mean, it's very, very user specific on that.
Yeah, I mean, I can put it exactly where I want it, and we have the technology, so yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's quite lucky that we do have that. So yeah, no, it's definitely seems like it's really, really good placement. So I kind of dig it. I noticed that you were banging out here. What were you hammering?
I didn't really want to cut that trans tunnel brace out, so I just kind of hammered it down a little bit.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, so he's got quite a big support. So essentially that angle going across there, I guess, going across there, kind of comes into one of the fold or the pinch or where the two sheet metals come together. So instead of cutting it, you kind of just banged it down, which, you know, for extending it out all the way out over here, you didn't want to make a big groove out of it. So yeah, I can see. I like it. I dig it. Ugh. Alright, JamJam_fit still needs to be in play. Luke, you want to get fit with me?
I actually would, you know.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think we can do?
6-pack would be a good start. Some aerobics, you know, to be able to play basketball without dying.
Well, we got the hoop there. You want to do any weightlifting? You want to...
I mean, yeah. I don't mind flexing, so...
Alright, Luke and JamJam_fit. We got this, bro.
I got your back.
Alright, speaking of getting back, let's get back to doing these brakes. So while I got you here, I didn't get it on the brake yet, just trying to pick which was the correct caliper. Brought me back to a noob mistake I made when I first did this. When I first got all the calipers back, when I was assembling one of these cars years ago, I grabbed them and I was like, alright, let me get these all over here, and I grabbed two of the right calipers and I stuck them on one side, and I grabbed two of the exact left calipers and put them on the other side, and then, you know, went about my way, and then I went to go install them, and I got them all bolted down just like I was about to do right now. And I mean, I know now not to do this, but so essentially this will be the exact same caliper here, so two right calipers. And then when you flip this to bolt onto the other side, and you've got two right calipers, essentially your bleeder is now on the bottom. So it's not, you're not supposed to use two rights and then two lefts. You need well, obviously you do use 2 rights and 2 lefts, but you don't use 2 right sides and 2 left sides on the corresponding side. You got to use 1 left, 1 right, 1 left, 1 right. So essentially this is a left side caliper, and then when it goes on here, now you got both bleeders on the top. So yeah, noob mistake I did a long time ago. Obviously I know to check now, put the bleeders on the top, but you know, you get excited when you first start, and I had them all there, and I'm like putting them in, bolting them in, and I was like, ah, idiot. Luckily, I figured it out before I put fluid in or anything like that, so wasn't too much of a mess. But yeah, thought I'd share that memory with you guys. But all right, let me get this side on, call it a day, and then I'll be done with this until the lines come in, and we'll start mounting the handbrake just like we saw with Lucas's. And let me just get this on. Shouldn't take too long. Throw the EBC yellow stuff in and put it back down. So here it is, here it's done. Let's just do a quick overview here. We got the reman caliper going to the standard foot brake with the ISR conversion line. This would be what you would normally do if you're just doing conversion brakes. And then we've got the extra caliper here for the handbrake with the EBC yellow stuff. Pretty simple, not many tools as you can see needed here. Some 17s. And pretty much just bolt on everything, lines, calipers, rotor, and it's done. We're gonna go ahead and revisit this section with the whole handbrake install and the line kit. But for now, slap the wheel back on, do the other side, and we're done for tonight. Y'all have a good night.